Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir Horn of Plenty, where we all have a bit of a giggle sometimes. We're back!
Sometimes.
It's very warm. It's like right now is like the summer in Japanese anime. I can just hear the
cicadas, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's how you know it's summer.
Yeah, right?
Totes. I, for one, am super psyched, super hype to be back. I'm happy about it. I don't know about
Me
the rest
too.
of you fools.
I haven't seen you guys in a while, and I miss you all. Believe it or not, unfortunately.
I'm just gonna go.
Ah.
Just kidding, I'm happy.
I'm going to remain because I have a job to do, and I don't let down my friends.
Unless it's for Avengers Endgame. You knew that was coming.
It was too easy. It really was too easy. No
That's
points on that one.
I let down my friends for my comrades, and the Avengers.
Ooh.
Okay, there's a hierarchy, and Iron Man is above us on the hierarchy.
He's got like a tier list, like a fighting game tier list of friends of like S tier, comrades.
I would genuinely love to do that and burn as many bridges as
yeah, I know.
possible.
I was gonna say that would be like really swiftly. You'd be like, well, my list is a whole lot smaller now.
You'd leave me unlisted.
That's the only way.
Yeah, you're just like, this is a picture of Dean's face. Yeah.
We could do a tier list of Dean faces.
That would
We've
also
got quite a
work.
few of them.
We have got a number of faces.
So, small talk adjourned. He does have an expressive face. With that adjourned, we can talk the show, the game, the D&D times. It's been a while, so I would understand wanting a good catch-up. I'm just trying to make sure the sound of ever-burning fire is not too loud on your little ears right now. Because you are on the Isle of Cinder. You've gone from your snowy homeland, only a jaunt away on a little boat, to an island of flame. You're doing this following some rumors. You were in the city of Shinebank, basically to get information in every which way you can, and you found information about something dragony going on the Isles of Cinder, a person that might know something.
Basically, I got half a tiny hint that there might be a tiny possibility that this might tiny possibility that it might be Arvine. And I was like, we're going!
What would you do if we found a book and then a charred, somewhat dragony elven skeleton?
I mean, at least I know what happened to her.
You're so positive, Ian.
Because Neil said that Ollie's like rewriting on the fly now.
Arvine is Ian's first Jarviskjir character, by the way, which is why it's relevant. Something that Ian has been talking about session 1 of this campaign is like, well, dragons.
Yeah, exactly, dragons.
You would be quite useful in this scenario, actually.
You managed to you got the boat from a shady chap named Chandler the Fence. And then it convinced him to actually join you on the journey to the island, which you begrudgingly accepted, which was very good for you, because he is pretty damn talented, and definitely saved your ass when you had to fight the salamanders native to this island. You had just rested and fixed your wounds and applied ointments to the burns and all that kind of thing in one of the charred and blackened ruins upon this rocky, blasted Isle of Fire. And that's pretty much where we're starting off, actually. We ended on you guys taking a short rest. So, double checking, everyone's healed up. The question is, what next? You were kind of going towards a structure I think Belara saw in the middle of the island. There are, like I said, kind of ruins. They are more like the silhouettes of where buildings should be than anything else. Is the plan to just continue towards the center.
We must go deeper.
In a certain sense, you are going deeper into the middle of the island. Yes.
Deeper, harder. We must not stop. We must not relent.
Was just wondering whether there was anything else you'd want to do before trekking onwards.
There was some talk of skinning salamanders. I don't know whether that was attempted or not.
I was wondering if Boxer's already done that or not.
Let me check the rolls. If I see a bad survival roll,
I see
then
a survival of 5 prior to the hit dice, which may well have been that.
I think that was
might
the
have been
attempt.
finding a place to hide, though. I'm not sure.
We found a little structure to survive it. That was what that roll was for sure.
Okay, if you want to go back and try and loot the salamanders, that's totally fine. Because they did leave some things. While the bodies, actually they haven't really dissipated. They are fire elemental creatures, but they aren't so elemental that they just dispersed into fire, right? There's still a body lying on the ground from when you killed it an hour ago. And there is some metalworking left there. Like, you don't even need to do any kind of roll for it, because like a mermaid or whatever, there's not much places to hide. They're not really wearing clothing. So the couple of, like, metal bangles and things, and most importantly, the giant, like, two-handed spear for a much larger creature is there. It might actually be a halberd, now that I think about it. Which is really just a big... It's a spear with an ego. But that's still there. Not that you can really... You can wield larger weapons, of course. You do have disadvantage unless you take a feat to get better at it. But it might just be something you want to just, like, take. And Minotaur can wield weapons this big, usually.
So it could be worth selling.
It could be. It is nice. These are well made, and it's you know what? To you guys, you actually have quite a reverence for elementals. You wouldn't be surprised that they've made well-made crafts. It is a pretty good quality weapon.
I'll take it in the hope that it can be sold. Then it was a large halberd, yes.
Yeah. Do you want to carry it with you, or do you want to, like, stash it in a place where you can take it back to the boat on your way back?
That would be the best plan, actually, if possible. If we have to leave without it, then it's not.
You can, like, prop it up against one of the winding, sad trees here.
Oh, sad trees.
Yeah, without leaves, without anything. Mostly charcoal at this point. Standing up with spite. Okay. Cool. Onwards. Just a re-description of the Isle of Cinder. It is, first of all, it wasn't very large. You know, it's not gonna take an entire day of traveling to get to the middle. The terrain is difficult to travel, so it is gonna slow you down. It's rocky, it's hilly. You guys are actually used to rocky terrains, but used to rocks and snow. This is like rock and, small pebbles almost blasted down to sand, and yeah, it's hot. It's the kind of thing where your boots sort of like bubble and melt at the floor in some places, and you have to kind of, you know, to manage that and take breaks and sit down in areas of even areas of shade are a little cooler, but the heat is coming from the ground. The air is filled with motes of ash and embers. The sky is mostly dominated by dark ashen clouds, but you can still see the sea when you look back. There's not like a mountain on this island or anything, so it never like blocks the horizon. But there is a steady incline of this rockiness until you get to the structure in the middle, where you can kind of see, you know, like the skeleton of a tower that would have been built kind of in the middle of the hill downwards, right? Almost like an amphitheater. And that's where you're approaching. But to a bunch of snowy northerners, the heat and the terrain, it's difficult. I'm going to need you all to give me constitution rolls, unless you have a plan to deal with the heat.
Go to B&M and buy one of those £1 hand fans. Just walk around with
I need to buy another one of those little cheap fans. Every summer I buy a cheap little
Neil,
USB
you're
fan.
muted.
Do the USB fans work? Or are they
Yeah.
just bollocks?
I just said they're pretty.
Do you
solid,
need- it
nothing
depends.
exciting.
It depends. You can get good ones.
I think if worst comes to the worst, we can cast more create or destroy water and have rainfall.
No, I think I'm not even gonna read. You're fine. You're all fine. It's difficult, but like you're determined. You know.
The tree is the most fine.
Well, actually, it's funny. You'd think Amaryllis would be having trouble, but she's not like burning. You definitely would notice, and I think we described it last time, that when she walks, she kind of roots every step. Not here.
Yeah.
No. But
I imagine her feet like crippity crawly along the floor,
but actually, as Amaryllis' race of Dryad, which I believe are walking woods, right?
Walking woods. Yeah, I was gonna say,
you adapt to new terrain very quickly, and like
yeah,
you're
any
actually
version
fine.
of adaptable nature going on here.
Totally. Which would have been your worry. The person made of wood is actually fine, and that would kind of take some of your worries away. Also, the fact that you just defeated the intelligent salamander inhabitants of the island gives you some confidence. You can march forward. Chandler is with you, of course. He's shut up. He was, of course, very talkative, especially to Balara in a very flirtatious, show-offy way. But after actually going down in that fight, defending a lot of you, and then being healed by you, something which, based on the look on his face, probably had not been done to him before, he's humbled a little bit, and he's just kind of like marching behind a lot of you. Hands on his weapons.
Yeah, thank God we had him though.
Yeah, it was a really smart choice. It's the very typical like D&D choice. It was like, can I get this NPC? There we go. Can I get this NPC to come with us? And I'm always like, And it's like, no, you make a good argument, and I can't. He can't refuse.
Can't say no to a 20.
I can't say no to a 20 or Balara's sweet face. Also appeasing to the ego of a Fae. Easy.
That's what I do.
Easy
when I want
res.
to take something from Ollie. Just walk into his house, take something. It's like, hey, you can't take that. I just drop a d20 on the floor. It rolls onto the 20, and he's like, oh, okay, you can take it.
His luck is too strong for me. You get you climb the hill in the center of the island, which is jagged and non-uniform. You can almost see areas where the earth has shifted and moved and just creaked in a direction or melted, because there are volcanic flows here, and actually as you get to the island, the volcanic activity gets stronger. When Bell would get to the lip of the hill looking down at this structure, it is like an amphitheater of stone, but you can see magma welling up from all the divots and things that almost create like a pooling effect around the outside of this structure mostly, but also seems to pour almost through little channels, not as big as like a canal or something, like the size of like a drain, but literally molten rock magma, aglow with heat, rolling down drains into the only semi-intact building. So there's like this tower, there's kind of like amphitheater stone steps, which are way bigger than they would be for a human of your size. They are huge. They are like, you're gonna have to climb down each one and climb up them to get up. Each one would be 8 feet. But there is almost like a little dome. It almost looks like a conservatory. You can tell that the windows of it are a type of glass. They are blackened and ash covered and soot covered, and they're not shiny or anything, and they're broken in many places, but it's like a glass little conservatory building that's mostly intact. And it's time to head that way. No rolls for you climbing the amphitheaters. Is there any, you want to do any kind of like stealthy things, or how do you want to approach this whole sitch?
I was thinking about doing this earlier. I'm now just going to do it so we have some warning. I would like to precognition the question, what will we find in this structure?
Okay, you're so like physically and temporally close. This is actually a very clear vision of a golden dragon bathing in fire, but it's almost like curled up like a cat. It's not... You don't get an aura of aggression coming from it, because often in your visions it is more auras and feelings. You feel very little threat. Power, but not threat.
Okay. So before they start descending, Amaris would just pause for a moment as she sees that. I believe we have found the inhabitant that we came seeking. Present in the structure there, I see a gold dragon. Powerful, but not defensive, not threatening, at least at the moment.
Well, let's hope that our host is accommodating.
Bloody dragons.
Golden dragon.
That is what I saw, yes. Different dragons, different colors, stand for different things, are of different temperaments. Golden dragons tend to be more known for being good, in a certain sense of the word, shall we say. Less
Chandler...
likely to burn down a village.
Chandler, like, pushing his way up the final, like, rock. It's like, you can't always judge a book by their cover like that, even with 10,000 years of history on your side.
No,
I agree.
We should be cautious, but a gold dragon is far better than if we had encountered, say, a black dragon.
Or a very particular green one.
Indeed.
Well, no sense in putting off the inevitable then.
Yes.
Okay, you're just gonna march down?
Yeah.
Climb
I don't
down
want to creep
there.
up on this. Can you imagine that? You like creep up and it just fries you with the scorching
Or
I mean,
like a...
6 scorching rays fly over your head.
Or like a cat, it just jumps, like, all from sitting all at once. Like a cat with a cucumber.
Oh, that is so funny when they do that.
It's quite a lot of work climbing down these massive steps to get to the building. But you will do it. It's time-consuming, but not wholly difficult to people who spend their lives around mountains. Chandler has the most difficulty as a Leith Sea Fae, but he doesn't even join you all the way. He, like, when you're trying to get to the whole building, he's like, this is your thing. I'm gonna stay right here, like halfway up the steps, which might even be a safe thing anyway, just in case there's any kind of danger arises. When you come up to the building, the kind of conservatory, you can feel a very strong heat welling from it. And there is an archway, no door or anything, and the archway, out from it glows the light of all this magma. When you waltz inside, it is clearly a bathing chamber, made for larger creatures. But then, even then, it might, if it was made for dragons, it might only fit a dragon. But the bath, finely sculpted, made of stone with a little bit of artistry around the sides that's chipped and melted, is filled with magma. It's absolutely filled with it. In some areas it does sort of re-solidify, in other areas it kind of pools and bubbles. There's very little other features in this room, but as you approach, you see a figure in the lava bath. You see her from behind, and you can just see a waterfall of dark, gingerish red hair, with a comb slowly working through it. A repeated movement that seems very, like, self-comforting. Golden horns twist from the head, but the silhouette is humanoid-ish. She clearly hears you approaching. You can see somewhat elven ears, although they are tipped with golden scales. And the figure turns. She appears in some ways human-like, with tan skin, but her body is twisted somewhat. Her limbs, her spine have elongated. And while it is deformity, there is something somewhat elegant about it. Maybe in the way that this nude woman carries herself. Maybe in the fact that across the limbs and the chest and the face are patches of golden scales. Golden scales, like polished, clean, glistening. They grow in patches. In some areas they've started to get into bigger chunks, like a dragon's actual scales. There are like larger armor chunks around the hands, around the breastbone. But around those patches of scales on the tan skin, the skin is reddened and inflamed, and it looks actually quite painful, this person mid-transformation. You can even see a tail and wings that are mostly in the magma, at a very much state of rest, but they move in a somewhat defensive way when she turns to look at you with golden eyes. The eyes are now 100% dragon. They're surrounded by scales, and there's still a humanity to them and the rest of the face, but the eyes are reptilian.
We mean you no harm.
It's funny that actually approaching and saying that, she does visibly relax slightly. She never moved in such a way to attack you. But you did see a long-fingered hand where the tips of the fingers have turned into golden claws. Lower back down into the bath. And she kind of adjusts to a, like, hugging the knee position against the back of the bath. The hair just trailing all the way down into the magma and beyond. The eyes look over all four of you, and with a voice that does actually have a little bit of that bass and depth of a dragon's, she asks, "Then why have you come here? There's a dragon by your shores. Most would come to mean it harm."
Well, these aren't actually our shores. As if far away.
So you've come a great way. For me.
Well,
sort of plan B, really.
It's a happy accident.
we didn't know we'd find you, if that's what you're asking.
What were you looking for then?
Knowledge.
And aid.
Knowledge I have in abounds. She adjusts her position slightly, slightly even more relaxed. She puts the comb down on the side.
She's about to just tear someone's fucking head off, like just.
Knowledge. What knowledge have you? What knowledge have you come to seek? Knowledge of dragons, perhaps?
Yes, that would be our main purpose. Another dragon terrorizes the village that these three young ones originate from. A dragon known as Malakesh, a green dragon. We came to the city on the shore seeking knowledge and aid, perhaps, against such a being as she.
Knowledge, I can grant, if you have the comprehension to handle it. Aid, advice, I can offer. I have fought my share of dragons. I know of many more who have fought many more. And my knowledge of dragons would be unparalleled. You have a green dragon terrorizing your home, and you want to know how to conquer it, how to free your home.
Yes.
And reverse the damage.
Their poison. Poison from their breath has corrupted the very home you have. I have heard of such things. It is not like a dragon of fire that would simply destroy. A green dragon wishes their damage to linger, even if they themselves are defeated. It is something they take utmost pride in. That is the way of a forest dragon, pride and poison. But I'm sure you already learned of that.
Feels awfully cowardly to me.
That would be an astute assessment. You are wondering how to fight such a creature. I will warn you that fighting them, this dragon would likely run. A green dragon makes their lair in forests that grow so corrupted by their presence. You see, dragons warp reality itself as they age. Their homes grow better fitted for their purpose of them. A green dragon's forest would be just as corrupted likely as your home. And web of protection for that dragon.
You speak about dragons as if you aren't one.
I wasn't always one, if that's what you're asking. And I'm not quite one yet either.
What are you then? What sort of creature can bathe in molten rock?
I was born with the blood of a dragon. Blood that grew in power as my magic did. In time, I will be one. I hope to be a kind one.
You'll certainly be a beautiful one.
There's a slightly sad smile at that.
Oh. I doubt any of us but Amaryllis will live to see that transformation, but I suppose we ought to wish you all the best with that.
You are the ones needing the wishes, as of now. But I can give you advice on how to face such a creature.
Anything.
You can't. You said your magic's grew in strength. You can't help. But we have an old elven hero. He said that he'd help. He wears plate armor.
As my time immortal grows towards its end, I find such gallivanting more and more tiring. It would bring me great happiness to assist you. But freeing your home is something you should do yourself.
How strange that as your time grows short, you find no interest in it, and as Zekian's time grows short, he finds a redoubled interest. We are strange creatures.
She nods at this, with a slowness that is somewhat elven. Well, your first disadvantage is that I assume your home is not underground. Dragons fly. You need to find a way to force them to the ground, take away their easiest advantage. I am sure you have encountered this dragon before, and when any chance of defeat fluttered in their face, they fled. A dragon is fast on land, but legs can be hobbled. Wings can be also, but in a different way. As I said, you do not wish to go to the lair of this dragon. Perhaps once this creature is dead, you will find all manner of riches, maybe even secrets. But with a dragon within it, a lair is a death sentence. You want to challenge this creature. It is no doubt a being of pride. It has corrupted your home. It most likely watches as you seek for ways to kill it. Gladly. And the look on your faces lets me know that you have already encountered its pride and its cunning. So you would need some cunning of your own. You challenge it. Outward. Insult it. Force it into a battle where you change the cards. She turns, like, directly to Torin. So far it's been like she's just talking to the room. But she turns directly to Torin. I know of your people. And I have seen your magic from the island of Othenfur. You're far away. But so am I. I know that it is within your blessings to summon great and mighty winds. Yes?
Well, yes, but I'm not from Othenfur.
One's blood tells many tales, especially in the ways of magic. There is blood within you descendant from ancient lines of giants. And guess who killed the dragons? You bring the dragon to your home. There's without a doubt they will find any way of cunning in trying to even the odds, even before they arise. But once you have them there, challenged, if you summon a great hurricane, a blizzard, with the eye and the storm on your home, a dragon would find no way to fly out of it. They might attempt it. They likely will. And they will find the great wings beating, or the great winds beating upon their wings, and sending them crashing down. You take away one of their strengths. And a dragon does not know how to handle such a thing. All intellect and cunning in their strategy will be rendered from them, and you will be fighting a petulant child with the power to kill many things with its breath. Not unlike many unruly children, really. This magic might seem out of your range, but I assure you it is not. Sensing the magic within someone is something I am uniquely blessed to see. And I see blessings within you. Well, like I said, something old and ancient. That is my advice. Same that would be used by many dragon slayers before you.
You spoke of a device.
A device?
Anything.
You can enchant a weapon to better cut a dragon. You would be better off with your spears, your bows, your magic. You try to keep a dragon down with a net. It will break free. You can do very well to breach some of the scales of their armor. An excellent shot can repeatedly hit their weakest points. A dragon still has constitution beyond many creatures on this world. But some arrows, some blades can pierce and cut a dragon's scale more efficiently. Weapons made of dragon, in fact. A dragon's greatest enemy was not the giants, but themselves, I am beginning to discover. Especially on this island. I hope your home is not too far west.
What do you mean, especially on this island?
On the western reaches of this isle, dragon cultists consort with dragons themselves, allowing both sides to become stronger. It is unlikely that your dragon is with them, otherwise they would not be hassling you alone. But, be warned, if it is known that you have killed a dragon, younger, more ferocious, more foolish dragons may attempt to slay a dragon slayer to gain great credit. A warning, perhaps, for your children. If you do recover your home, you will need to be prepared.
Even if we do manage this, it's not over.
My child, things are never over.
We can't remain in Cornucopia.
Oh, if you
Things
move, a dragon will chase you.
Things can't go back to how they were. Never.
She leans back, which allows... She leans back and it allows like the light to gleam on the golden scales. That is a blessing and a curse.
I'm hearing all curse and no blessing.
There are, I'm sure, great things ahead for you. I can't see into the future. But if you believe it to be only curse, that will be all you find. If you can defeat this dragon, if you can summon magic great enough to even challenge it and send it limping away, that is a great victory, and victory should be celebrated. Do not dwell in your failures.
You said you had knowledge. You've shown that you have a great amount of knowledge already. But if we need weapons made of dragons to slay them, if that's what's going to give us the best chance, where would we find these objects, these artifacts? I would hate to break the blessings of Ing, but I will do what's necessary. If we can find them from the tombs and graves of forebears, then so be it.
I am sure if your people had fought dragons, you would know of it. But on this isle, many have. It is a roost for dragons. The Dragon Spine Mountain to the west. The closer they get, the closer you get to it, the more you'll find those who revere it. Those who revere dragons are not above using dragon bone and scales to gain their own power. Plus, I am sure there are all manner of curios in the city of Shinebank that they themselves do not even know the true value of. It seems the place.
How would we identify it? If an expert wouldn't know, how are we to?
Experts only know what they think they know. And she will actually rummage in the magma and pull out what kind of looks like a grey-ish dragon scale. There's a curve to it and a slight gloss to it, kind of like that oil slick gloss where you can see quite a few colours in it. And she will slide it to the boot of Belara. It will react to dragons, living or dead.
I'm just gonna wait 20 minutes for that to cool off. Thank you. You do have my sincere gratitude. You've been a tremendous help. What is your name?
My name is Arvine, though I might choose a new one once my transformation is complete.
Arvine.
I do wish you all the best, to the dragon gods and yours. I do hope you do not find all dragons unfavorable. They were, in some ways, good and grand, but in any other way, just like people, and prone to every sin that everyone else is.
Arvine, you greet us with kindness whilst we trespass, and you give us great hope, tremendous hope. And I kneel and give a little bow and get back up. Thank you.
She just gives a sort of deep nod and kind of turns in a way that's like, you know, conversation over. Bell, you can pick up the dragon scale, which kind of fits in a palm, you know. Still a little hot.
I would slide it into my quiver.
Like 20 minutes, you're like, what's that? What's that? It's just a fire coming out.
There's just like a horseshoe hole into my hair.
And you can turn with tidings, both good and bad. But a technique on how to fight a dragon if you wish to do so. What's the next move?
I knew you were going
I had to send Ian a message, of course I had to. I don't know what Arvine said, but I can't summon anything like a hurricane, a blizzard, or anything more than a bluster of wind, really. It's not something any one person can do.
Torin,
It's not.
I think it's time for you to start reading.
Read all I want. I've not, and I've been reading all my life, but I don't have that sort of power. I trick gifts to me, but I can't take more.
Power tends to come to individuals in their hour of need, when they deserve it and when they need it. Additionally, I would say it was not long ago that you could cast only the smallest of spells. Young Torin, do not doubt that you will have grown further by the time you confront the beast, if you so wish.
Possessing more power than one needs is a sure way to corruption. Perhaps you don't need that power just yet. But if all of this has taught me anything, it's You just need to believe.
I didn't think I'd ever get a lesson in faith from you, Victor.
Well, we just saw a dragon lady in a pool of lava, so I'm kind of warming up.
Fair enough. And your mum's blue.
Yes, and my mum is still blue.
Maybe we should have a look around the markets of Shinebank then.
Or speak to some cultists.
Or
I mean,
that.
we're already here.
I don't think it will just be a talk.
Did Ivy mean they're on this isle?
So, if you look at the map,
I thought she meant like she's
Mother's
referring to
Horn.
this isle as Mother's Horn.
Mother's Horn is basically 3 subcontinents. The west one has a dragon problem. So you're on the east one, unless I've got my east and west mixed up, which I may have done. I'm prone to do.
East is to the right, west is to the left.
It's not that simple. But yes, there's... But, I mean, a faith is a faith. Shinebank is a big city.
Space left.
There's a chance of finding dragon cultists, although religion was highly controlled in Shinebank. It doesn't mean there's not a chance.
Are we about to go pull like a drug bust?
I mean, literally, like, helping
Like-
the faith, the family of Shinebank to fight dragon cultists so you can get stuff would be pretty cool.
Sounds fun. I wanna bonk some dragon cultists.
CSI Shinebank.
CSI.
Alright, you know what? Let's take a break now, because it is a good moment. And we'll be back in uno momento, por favor.
Por favor.
Por favor!
Uno momento.
It's less of that.